Hello everyone, Jules here, your friendly neighbourhood egg. And this is the thing, I am a man who is very, very busy at the best of times. I've got just enough time in the morning to go downstairs, deconstruct an avocado onto a shovel and serve it to my missus for breakfast. So I, unfortunately, have had to make the tough decision of just cutting short video game experiences just because I don't have enough time to play them. But there was one video game that actually managed to make me sit down and think, I am never going to finish this game because it is just too damn long, and that was The Division 2. Now this thing, I came onto the Division scene quite late in the day, with only picking up the Division 1 when all of the Game of the Year edition was out, all the DLC, all the extra bits added in, and that was a lot to get through. So much and so that by the time that I really only finally got around to finishing that, the Division 2 was already close to coming out. So when I picked it up, I was just like, this is really fun for a while, and then it was just fatigue set in because I was like, I've already had this experience quite a lot over and over again already, and there isn't much here that's changing up the formula. And then, when I was speaking to either Ewan or Josh about it, they said that the campaign was so incredibly long if you wanted to go and see everything and do everything, that I literally just sat there and was just like, nah, I'm gonna peace out. And that's the end of my story with The Division 2. It's a shame because it's actually a really decent game. There's a lot of fun to be had, especially when you've got mates around, but still, it was just too girthy, humongous, for me to actually get stuck in. One day I might return to it. No, I won't.
Over the years, I kind of feel like our bloat detection radar has gotten better in terms of just overblown games that go on for way, way too long. And it gets to the point where it's just, you're so aware that you're just doing the same thing over and over again. And something like combat in an open world action RPG feels the same after 30 hours as it did after 30 minutes, except that now the numbers are higher or whatever. So to that end, I'm going to go with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've since gone back and just watched some of the ending cutscene stuff and watched all the stuff with Pythagoras and all the ridiculous time hopping stuff with the staff, and you'll know what I mean if you've managed to finish that game. But for me, Odyssey and Origins to some degree, even though I did finish Origins, is very much endemic of how much Ubisoft just throw everything at the wall, and something that it's twisted that idea of you would sort of zoom out of the map back in the day, back in the 2000s when open world games really started coming into prominence. You would zoom out on the map and be like, oh my god, all this space, this is brilliant. But if it's just space, if it's just a big old open world with just hashtag content to do, just things to while away your time, that overtime is just going to put me off. I'm not going to feel like I'm getting anything worthwhile out of just plunging through something. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet and I'm full. I just want to keep consuming for the sake of it. And so I think I hope that going forward, something like Valhalla has a more considered overall runtime, and maybe put the main quest over here, let that get out of the way, and then if you want, incentivize us to go out and do all this extra side stuff. You'd hope for something like that. I don't think it will be, because I think that Ubisoft have very much, embraced that mentality. Although at the same time, a lot of their higher up people going away, they like people like Serge Haskaway or whatever that fleck of excrement was called. Him going away means that that he was the dude that was literally saying keep doing the same thing over and over again. And you would hope that the more creative minds at the company would be able to get back into positions of power to say, look, this is what an actual game and a story and a progression should feel like, rather than just trying to pay for sheer bloat and sheer just amount of time invested. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, stupidly long.
So a game that I gave up on, and not completely, because I still do play this game, but I just gave up sort of trying to progress, is Fallout 4, because there's just so much. It's such a large expanse of land that you have to progress upon, and it seems like there's just never-ending missions and people that need your help, and I don't know if I will ever properly complete it. I always seem to sort of go down sort of like the main routes, like with the Brotherhood, as well as like the facility and stuff, and I, when I first played it, I made sure that I went through a way that I thought was the correct way, the good way, and I've since gone back and done it a few different ways, but I always seem to sort of get to a certain point where I'm just sort of, I give up, and I just don't want to carry on trying to figure out, doing all these different missions and collecting different things and helping different people, because there's just so many. Like, going onto my actual list of quests that I have on Fallout 4 is endless. Like, the amount of people that I've talked to and they're like, oh, can you help me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, because, I'm a nice guy, I'm going to help you out. And I just never get around to it because there's just so many. The list just just goes on and on and on, and I end up just kind of giving up and instead just going around foraging for parts so that I can make a really cute little town instead. So I have about 3 or 4 different towns that I have created to perfection. They are looking pretty damn good. But that's all I do now. I go into Fallout sort of with the headstrong to go in and sort of carry on and help these people. But instead I just always seem to sort of get to a certain point where I do just give up. The quest list gets too long and I just go back to my settlement. I just check in with everyone, make sure that everything's looking pretty and fine, and yeah, that's my Fallout 4 experience now, unfortunately. And I don't know if I ever will help those people who I unfortunately did promise that I would help. So yeah, sorry to all of you little NPCs, but you're not getting my help.
Dragon Age Inquisition is a long game, innit? This fantasy RPG that I was really looking forward to, made by BioWare, is a long game, and it has a lot of content that just isn't that good. And I kind of, for the longest time, I wanted to love this game. When I first got it, I really wanted it to be like the next Skyrim or something, the next game that I properly sunk my teeth into. But when you have a game that is so bloated that the developers literally need to go and tell the fans to move on from the first area, it's just almost impossible to finish everything. And this was a game that I was enjoying whilst I was playing it. I was moving through the story, I was having a fun time, getting to know the companions who are a highlight of that experience, leveling up my character, getting new abilities, forging new armor. There's a lot of good stuff in Dragon Age Inquisition, including the story, but it got to a point where I was about 2/3 of the way through, and I ended up putting it down. I think it was for university assignments at the time, potentially. Yeah, university assignments. And I had no kind of drive to go back to it at all. And it took me about 6 months to return to the game. I had forgotten everything that had happened previously in the story because I just wanted to get through the main quest. I wanted to see the story out. I'd put too much time into it, like 60, 70 hours or something by this point. And I just wanted to finish it off. I wanted to get it out of the way because it's very rare that I don't finish games. I am almost I feel like a compulsion to finish things. I don't like starting things and just leaving it kind of open-ended. The only other games I can think of off the top of my head that I didn't finish are Watch Dogs 2 and Anthem. So, I always feel like I need to have a drive to finish it, and I did finish the main quest on Dragon Age Inquisition, but I left so many side quests, so many other areas left unexplored, some literal hubs I just never touched. I played 70+ hours of Dragon Age Inquisition and didn't kill a single dragon. Not one dragon. Dragon is in the title of the game. I didn't kill it. I didn't kill a single one. I fought one and I ran away because I was too underleveled, but I couldn't believe that, and I think that kind of sums up just how much bloat is in this game, because I went through the entire thing and, didn't even kill a single dragon. But I did finish the main quest, so I suppose this is kind of a cheat, but that thing was so long, so bloated. Almost as bloated as this entry right now. Sorry, it's really late in the day.